Alright, so today's video we're watching a Diamond 2 support on PC playing Mercy. They say I peaked Masters a few seasons ago and every time I hit Masters I always drop back down to low Diamond. I've been on the grind to get back up, but I want to know what I'm doing wrong to constantly de-rank out of Masters. I've played in top 500 games and done fine, but I know a good amount of things, I know I have a good amount of things to still work on. In this game, I went for a few dumb resurrections and had some bad ults. I mainly play Mercy, but I also play a good amount of Ana and Kiriko as well. I would appreciate any tips on cooldown usage, positioning, and anything you can think of. This was a good game for me, and I had good teammates, which is the reason why I stayed on Mercy. That's fine. You can play Mercy. No worries. Here we go. See what happens? Let's go from there. Now, looking at your team comp right now, you're going to be doing more of damage boosting your DPS than you are going to be of just trying to heal your Doomfist. Remember, if you're following your Doomfist around and heal him, it's probably not going to go well. As Mercy, that is. So you have two available DPS that are pretty good pocket targets. So yeah, pretty straightforward there. Positioning solid. Remember I want to see one thing just because of line of sight here, just so you can see. As you can see, you're fine, so don't go any further than that. But good position. And I wanted to show chat what good positioning can mean. Do you notice how the Mercy is damage boosting the Ashe, right? And it's clear as day that the Mercy is damage boosting the Ashe, right? But look where the Mercy is, right? There isn't too many spots they can go that can shoot the Mercy. So like this would be considered good positioning, right? Good positioning can be a make or break. And I always say that. People are like, yeah, like playing Mercy, like do you need to work on your position? I'm like, yeah, I mean, look at this. Like if this Mercy's standing here, this Mercy can't do the same thing. Like you can just chill. And that's good. So good job understanding the angles, and that's what I wanted to showcase in people there. So I just think it's good to look at that stuff is what I'm getting at. There you go. Alright. Widow's dead. So far, so good. I mean, it's... At the beginning, especially, it's a little bit harder to be like, do this, do that, do like, because like... Oh, well. Come on, they'll save you. Come on, Cassidy. Okay, you got some good teammates. All right, you're good to go. If your DPS comes to save you when you're going off the map as Mercy, you know it's going to be a good game. Yeah, I know who's getting damage boosted now, chat. I know who's getting damage boosted now. I don't even think it's a question. Right, that Cassidy earned that one. Don't be afraid to go for an early aggressive Valkyrie. You don't necessarily have to do it yet, but like say that like the Bastion was trying to ult just you there specifically, I would have been okay if you launched the Valk. I think you'll get Valk fairly quickly in this comp anyway, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. This is totally fine. This is actually a good Valk spot too, because you have 3 people there who get damage boosted and benefit from that. But it's also like one of those situations where like you don't have to. So I get not using it here. Thankfully, your Doomfist went in and absolutely fed, which made it easy for you to decide whether or not you should use this. Go back to damage boost, hog on point. Don't have to worry about that necessarily. You'll be fine. Yeah, you get that team fight, I think. Oh, wait a second. Wait 1 second. You don't lose this, right? Nah, there's no way. Good job staying alive here, too. Yeah, you should win this. This has been a roller coaster of emotions. Okay, there we go. You won it. That's how I'm like, you should win this on paper. You said you only go for a Valk when there's a team fight? Now, while I will agree with that statement, I think sometimes... Okay, let me kind of pause to talk about that, because you said you only should use a Valk when there's a team fight. Here's my take. A team fight can still happen without them just running at you. So if your team's on a high ground and they're going through a choke, the team fight may not be happening on paper, right? It's not happening, but like that is a team fight. So if you wanted to be aggressive with Valk there and have your team be really aggro with a damage boost, you could do that, right? Obviously you need everybody on the same page, but you don't need to just sit there and wait for something to happen. You can be aggressive with it, right? I'll have that from time to time when I'll have a Mercy and like in top 500 games we'll pop Valk in those situations just to keep the damage boost rolling, to keep the momentum going. Because sometimes Overwatch is also a very momentum-based game where even if your team is a little bit outmatched, if you can get the momentum, even for you know, all 3 points, and then play like okay the rest of the game, that might be enough to win, right? So the point I'm making is sometimes keeping that momentum and that aggression can be really strong, so like it's okay sometimes to pop it there. Yeah, anyway. It depends on the rank, though. In Masters, it's fine, but if you do it in Plat or a lower rank, isn't it better to wait for a team fight? That's why and again, I talk a lot, so I might have forgot this point, but I may have mentioned that, like, it also depends on, like, if you communicate with your teammates and, like, you agree to do that type of play, right? As in, like, if your team's like, yeah, let's do it, like, it's fine to Valk that, regardless of your rank. Plus, I think it's a good habit to get into of being a little bit more aggro in every rank regardless. Doesn't mean it's always going to work, but I think it's okay to get into that type of aggression. I think trying to play it too safe with Valk sometimes, or any ultimate at that, is just... The more you use your ultimates and you use them, you'll learn that you don't need to wait for the perfect opportunity for an ultimate. Anyway, yeah, I hope that's helpful. I hope that's helpful. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Mercy gameplay has been pretty solid so far. Like I said, I haven't had too much here. That's why it's always... It's usually a good sign when we're in the middle of a spectating video and I'm talking about, like, theories of what you could do on a good play. Right? Like, the Res and the Ash might be a little bit aggro there, but, like, again, I think the momentum there, you're just trying to keep it, I'm okay with that. Like, here, I wouldn't Valk it right now because even though you have a little bit of momentum in the map control, you don't have your teammates there, so that you wouldn't get as much value, right? So, if your team is full HP, is it more worth it to damage boost or go Battle Mercy? Damage boost? But it depends, right? Like, if your DPS is Tracer and Genji, you know, you may not be able to go in and damage boost the whole time, right? Because, like, if they're going in backline pressure, I mean, I've seen Mercy's damage boost Genjis or Tracers, but, like, you're not going to want to fly into the backline of the team, right? So, did there escapes super clean? Yeah, the movement's solid. Movement's solid. You could Valk this. Yep. Good job. Yep. Aggressive Mercy play. Totally fine. Good job. Yep. And, okay, I think that's where you might be... Okay, I'll explain that in a second. You said, yeah, I don't want to use my L2 aggressively, though, because I find myself in a situation where I'm out of position or something, and I got no teammates, and I would actually use my Valk. Well, when I say being aggressive with your ultimate, I'm not saying pop Valk and go into their backline and start blasting. Popping your Valk and just hitting right-click on the whole team to damage boost 3 people right there, that is the same type of aggression I'm talking about. You're not going into their backline. I'm just saying that you're damage boosting your 3 teammates in front of their team. You can't do that without Valk, right? You can technically do it with a perk, right? You can damage boost 2 people with the perk. But, like, the point I'm making is if you have 3 people in front of you and you can keep map control, that is still an aggressive Valk, right? You're not waiting for them to make a play. You're using it aggressively to get your teammates to also play aggressively. Again, I understand what's being said, too, by the way. Don't get me wrong. One thing I've learned over the course of the Spectating series is that every rank does play differently. But I think it's okay to be a little bit more aggressive with your Valk because if you're waiting to use it defensively all the time, you're going to get in that habit of only using it defensively, and sometimes it's good to just pop that Valk, damage boost 3 people, and keep that momentum rolling. And again, I hope this is making sense. I'm trying to... Yeah. Here we go. What rank is this? This is Diamond. Diamond Mercy.
Good to see you.
Now, obviously, this game goes a little bit longer, so let's see how this defense plays out. Yeah, and they bounce back between masters sometimes. Nice play. Position solid. One thing that I like that you're doing right now, chat, is I'm going to show something here. On paper, if you're playing Mercy here, chat, what are you seeing here? Like, if you're just sitting here as Mercy, what are you seeing? I'm not even worried about the positioning because I want to show people something here because I think none of that. I've seen this happen in other ranks. Not going for the Doomfist is the correct play here. I want to point that out. You're seeing this and you're like, holy crap, that's from the Mercy's point of view, you see low, but this is actually correct. Because the Doomfist, if you go to this Doom, you're going to go out of position and get this heal off, no matter what you do, right? So what you would want to do here is keep your Ana alive and hope your Doom falls back, and then your Ana is going to be the one that takes care of this for now, right? So I'm showcasing why this ends up being a good play because the Doom is going to put you out of position, and the Doom has the ability and the way to get around and survive, especially at this rank, we're a little bit more self-sufficient. I say as you climb, you're going to become more self-sufficient on your hero because you're gonna recognize, health packs more, how to get out of cooldown situations. Now, you're going, should the Mercy go to the Doom there? I mean, that's a 50-50 play. There was enough kills to justify it, but you know, as you can see, it's really hard to keep that Doomfist alive throughout that. So going in to keep the Doom up there during the kill was fine because it was later in the team fight and you weren't going to angle yourself out of position. And then the Doom died and you got out. So, yep. Yeah, I mean, the res wasn't even up yet, so staying there for like a res on Doom wouldn't be that. But I don't mind the res here on the Sojourn. You still have numbers or at least have a chance. Like that's still good though. Yep. So far, it's been a pretty clean Mercy game. Which again, by the way, I might as well good time to talk about this in the video. We are accepting ego VODs now, and the way those are going to work is if say you're like, hey, you know what? I think I'm the best Doomfist in silver. I want to see that. Give me your best game. I want to see it. There's also one other video concept that I'm like considering doing that somebody brought up in chat actually. So this is a chat concept. What if somebody gives me 2 games on the same map where you win one and you lose one, and we try to figure out like what you're doing wrong in both of those games to see if we can kind of connect like where you can improve at. So like you send me, you know, something we don't commonly do, like a push game, right? And I watch a win on Esperanza and a loss on Esperanza, and we figure out like what's the difference in that game? Why are you losing that one game and winning the other, right? A little bit more in depth, but like yeah, you just got EMP'd and ulted. I'll be real with you. There wasn't much you could do there in that situation. That was a well-timed EMP play. Now, the only thing I would suggest in this situation, and something you can start to do if you're not doing it already, is track ultimates. Track and ultimates can be really, really, really strong. So don't be afraid to sit there and actually track that and be like, okay, you know, they have EMP coming, so we need to hide. And I think that's going to help a lot. Why are they standing still? Well, they were just standing on the high ground trying to survive. I might have missed some context because I was talking about other stuff. But that just seemed like pretty safe positioning where they were. Again, you have to remember that, like, you're not going to get as much vision as the ranks will climb. So, like, sometimes you're just going to be hiding behind a wall not doing anything because, like, that is going to be the correct play. Right? That's going to be the correct play. Yep. Yeah, I mean, they got you there, but I mean, that was a kind of like a really rough retake team fight that could have went in your favor. So, you know what? Sometimes you take those, sometimes you don't, right? You know? But the movement was good, I agree. I've had no problems with the movement on this Mercy. This has been great. I think, actually, that's probably going to be my suggestion for Mercy, too, is to start to track ultimates more, because we saw the Mercy die to ultimates there. But now I'm kind of curious how the retake goes. This is where, you know, this is where the team has to come together and win this, right? Like, be smart on this. This is a tough retake. JD, thanks for the 8 months of the Prime sub. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you for the 8 months. There you go. And then also keep in mind, this Mercy also says that in their hero pool, they can also play Ana and Kiriko. So, like, there's also, like, you know, decent, like fallback heroes if for some reason, like, say you go Mercy and you keep getting dove over and over again and you can't escape. There's things like that could be super helpful, too. Does damage boosted Ana heal more? I don't think so. But I'm going to be honest with you, I've never really tested it. Probably not, though. Probably not. I think that had to be a different type of damage boost. Actually, no, because, like, it's always interesting because Window works so differently. But yeah, more than likely not. I don't mind you going for the Widow here. That's the correct play. Yep, nice job. Reason why you go for the Widow there, chat, is not only because it's a Widow, because that Widow is isolated but on her own. You notice how the Widow is literally up there by herself? No one can help the Widow? That's why that's a good play. Again, you're dying to ultimate, so, like, I think that might be beneficial for you to, like, start to track ultimates more. And it's not necessarily, like, on you to know they're going to EMP you, know they're going to do this play, that play, etc. But what I'm trying to get at here is, like, it can make it a little bit easier. Let me give you an example. Like, if I'm playing D.Va and I know they have Grav, the way I'm going to play D.Va is a lot different than I would play against a Zarya normally if I know they don't have Grav, right? I'll kind of play a little bit, like, more flanky and, like, kind of behind them. So that's why, like, if you know they have EMP there, maybe you go, okay, I want to stay away from my teammates at all time, and I'm not going to use my movement too much, or, like, maybe your Guardian Angels is more of, like, that slingshot style. This is Diamond, where you kind of, like, will slingshot, and that was, you should have reset here. Your teammates were going to fall over regardless. That would have been a good opportunity to reset there, so just be careful on that one, okay?
I must return to my post.
Yes, this is Diamond. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now your team's kind of getting snowballed. Like, this is on you and your team to reset together. This has been a team effort. You need to reset and recognize that it's okay to wait an extra 15 seconds for everybody to be up. Yes, you might lose a tad bit of map control, but look at the other team. They're not even going for the map control. It's okay right now being on the Winston. For now, you're going to eventually want to end up on your DPS. Now we're in that scenario with the Tracer. Do you go in with a Tracer and a Reaper? Makes it a little bit more difficult, so you need to be a little bit more wary of your position and what you're doing. I mean, great job dropping down there for a heal. I love how your teammates are making this really easy by all trying to maximize how much damage they take at all times so you can never actually get somebody to full HP. So, good positioning up on high. Use your movement to get out. Good job. I mean, movement's been excellent. I mean, your movement, this is why I always say, like, really good Mercies can have really good movement. I think you have saved yourself probably 5 or 6 times from just solid movement. Straight up. When is Season 16 coming? Next Tuesday. Exactly a week from today. This might be a difficult one because you want to go res, but you know you can't yet. So it's okay if you don't res your Ana here. I want to point that out. Yeah. Listen, you're going to probably win this team fight, but it was one of those situations where it's okay to just not res your Ana there and recognize that that's probably going to happen. Like, you know the Sombra's going to try to go for that, right? That was a little bit aggressive by your Winston. Now you don't have res. So, a bit of a mistake right there, right? You had an opportunity to res your Winston up there and keep your Winston alive to keep some momentum. Instead, your Winston goes in, dies. Let me point out, by the way, I'm not blaming you for your Winston falling over. That's your Winston's fault, okay? What I am saying is that if you don't go for the res when you know they're going to be camping the res there with the hack, you would have a res there, you'd be able to get your Winston up, and then maybe it's a different game and you don't have to retake as hard as you are now, is what I'm getting at. So, slight mistake on that one, right? That's just recognizing the situation. But, truthfully, that really started with the Winston doing what the Winston did. If I'm going to be honest with you. So. Yeah. Tough retake here, though. Your team did a good job of retaking, but it wasn't perfect by any means, obviously. Like, there's nothing you can really do about that one. You got to keep at it. They're obviously going to get that. Oh, the movement's great. The movement is it just shows you that when you have good movement as Mercy, it really can make a huge difference because your survivability numbers go up like crazy. And I'm not talking about, like, even, like, going back and forth between a target. I'm talking about using a target to go around a wall, like, that isn't at an angle that you would expect, right? Like you know, you're going to, like, the diva, but you're going to end up in the cave bottom right. You know what I mean? Things like that. Position in solid here. Again, it's not really on you to keep the diva up. You can go for occasional heals here because they haven't got the map control yet. But your Ana is going to be the one that's going to have to position correctly to keep the diva alive. And if the diva's getting mad at you for not healing them, that's on the diva's positioning more than it is on you. Even then, good job there with positioning. I mean, you still went for the diva. You had solid position. They can shoot your feet there, but they can't headshot you. You'll probably survive that, and you're good to go. So, it's been really good Mercy gameplay. You can go for the res right away because you hear the Sombra shooting right in front of you, so you don't have to worry about the threat of that hack happening again like last time. That was very well played by you. Good job. And it looks like you're able to get the point here. So, and that was the difference. Like, normally you play around the Sombra right there, but when you hear the Sombra shooting at your teammates, in my mind, I'm going, hey, I don't have to worry about that right now. We're fine. Like, this is totally normal. Like, we'll be good. All right. Let's see how your attack goes, though. Obviously, you have a really good defense there. Can you keep it up on attack? All right, damage boost targets here. Same thing as before, Sojourn and Bastion. Probably Sojourn to start. I think Bastion will only get a little bit of value against the front line. The Sojourn can get a little bit more of that long distance value. There you go. Falling back to your team. Good survivability. Obviously, your teammates fall over there. Not much you can do about that one. Damage boosting Pharah. Yeah, you can rest that. You're good. You heard the Sombra already translocate. You're fine. You have a Zarya, Sojourn. Now you're probably gonna end up with the Pharah more than the Sojourn. You could Valk this if you wanted to. I'm okay with an aggressive Valk here. There you go. Only concern I had was that you lost somebody by the time you Valked. And like you didn't have the res to play for because you had to res the Pharah earlier, so that's my little bit of my concern. There you go, good heals, good damage boost. That felt like that was one of your first aggressive reses, where like I think you're trying to almost force the play there, and that's your problem. So like that was one of those situations where I would have played that a little bit safer after you got the initial like pick what your team had to pick, rather than try to force like the res, but should be okay.
It's go time.
Got EMP'd again. Apparently you and your other support always get EMP'd. Pharah goes in, makes a really good individual play. Do not force res here, by the way. Do not force res. Okay. I mean, you technically forced res. It's you going back to spawn and reviving from spawn doors, right? So, I mean, technically you did force it, just in a different way. All right.
I must go where I'm needed.
Oh, I'm East Coast. It's 7 a.m. for me. All right, let's see if you can take this dub here. 40 seconds on the clock. Your team's all over the place. You should win this game, in theory, based off of the picks you got. But I've still seen, I've seen worse than that one. Solid enough position for the res. Should be enough to win the game. There you go, GG's, good job. I mean, listen, I'll give credit where credit's due. Your positioning was really good. Your movement was really good. Your number one problem, I think, at least, this might be just me on this one, is like, I think you need to start tracking ultimates more, and also, just be wary of going for that aggressive res. I think that's really what you need to, like, kind of work on. But I think tracking ultimates is probably your number one thing, because you got ulted many times and you would die during those type of situations. And it felt to me that was where your problem was, is that, like, you wouldn't think about, oh, they have an EMP. So maybe, like, when they have EMP, you can, use your movement even more, right? And try to force the EMP out. Like, I've seen plenty of times where a Mercy, like, flies into the team, baits everybody into believing the Mercy's flying in, does a slingshot backwards, the Sombra EMPs, and you're fine. And now you have Valk up, and you're just keeping your teammates alive, and you have a better vision. So I think tracking ultimates is what I'm going to recommend for you, because I felt like your damage boost targets were good. You knew when to heal, when not to heal. Your movement was solid. Outside of trying to force a couple reses here and there, which, as you mentioned, you knew, I'd say start tracking ultimates. I think it's going to help you a lot. So start with that, and I think you'll be in a good spot to climb. You got this. You absolutely got this. Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube, leave a comment. You want to submit your stuff, my Discord. That's where you do that. We record it live on stream. Twitch chat below the webcam. I'll stream on YouTube. And if you'd like to watch another Spectating, click the video coming up next. Enjoy. Hope you all have an amazing day/night.